Chapter 1099, Golden Armored Man Underneath the Stone Pillar. Chapter 1099, Golden Armored Man Underneath the Stone Pillar. A scarlet-robed figure holding a long sword flitted across the air above the battlefield. Jian Wushuang held a wine pot in hand, drinking from it as he flew. It has been over a decade and I haven't seen a single person. How boring. He shook his head. Though there were a number of experts adventuring on this huge battlefield, the chances of meeting them were very low. He had not met even a single person in the past dozen of years. It was natural for him to feel a little upset as he had not cultivated for long and had never been through these many dull days like this. Jian Wushuang, you will soon enter uncharted territories. Be careful, Jiyu King warned. Got it. Jian Wushuang nodded and put aside the wine pot. With a shake of his body, the smell of wine completely dissipated. Half a day later, he reached the uncharted territories. He slowed down and became even more cautious than before. There, all he saw was still endless battlefield ruins. Didn't you use to cultivate the Scarlet Eye secret skill of the ancient god clan? You can put it to use now, Jiyu King said. Scarlet Eye secret skill? Jian Wushuang was doubtful. That skill could be used to see through all illusions. It would have been useful if the battlefield was shrouded in mist that limited his vision. However, he could see clearly without any obstacle whatsoever here. It's not just for looking through nihility and illusion skills, but also for seeing things more clearly. Jiyu King continued, you're on a battlefield that houses many treasures. Look at the ruins. They may seem ordinary but they might turn out to be treasures. You can't see the treasures with the naked eye, but the Scarlet Eye secret skill can increase your chances of finding them. I see. Jian Wushuang agreed. He immediately used the Scarlet Eye secret skill. He began to gain a broader view as well as a clearer and more accurate vision. Jian Wushuang continued to venture in the uncharted territories at a leisurely pace. Just like that, 2 years passed in the blink of an eye. Jian Wushuang, who had been moving ahead, halted abruptly. What's wrong? Jiyu King asked. Instead of replying, Jian Wushuang pinpointed a direction and rushed toward it. After a moment, he arrived in the space above a desolate ground. He overlooked the ground while beaming joyously. He had a clear view of the ground while suspended midair. There were long spears scattered all over the ground, all of which were covered in a layer of dust. Their power was also constrained, making them seem ordinary. If someone passed by without looking carefully, he might not be able to detect these long spears. Since Jian Wushuang was using the Scarlet Eye secret skill, he immediately recognized them. These long spears were magic weapons, or more precisely, emperor weapons of peak level. There were even so many of them here, to boot. Jian Wushuang waved his hand at the ground, summoning a wind that blew through and cleared the dust on the long spears. The long spears were restored to their original appearance. The black long spears were made of a material that Jian Wushuang had never seen before. Since they were identical in shape and size, he assumed that they were systematically made magic weapons. There were over 120 of them. Top-grade Emperor weapons are worth 10 fire points in the Fire Point Exchange office. That means there are about 1,000 points here. 1,000 fire points were equivalent to 1/5 of the ancient god power. Considering the minimal effort he had put in to obtain these long spears, of course he would be delighted. He then collected all the long spears with a wave of his hand and continued on his way. An ancient bronze stone pillar towered over the fringe of ruins left in between two bare mountains. The pillar was huge with a height of over 10,000 feet and the width of a house. Patterns of golden dragons and phoenix lined the pillar, lending it an air of magnificence. The most attention-grabbing detail was an ancient, grandiose word carved in the center of the pillar. The word was kill. The word imbued the magnificent stone pillar with an impressively potent killing intent. An elegant man in golden armor sat under the pillar, his eyes focused on the word kill on the pillar. He was so transfixed that he could not look away. The man had remained under the pillar for hundreds of years. Suddenly, hey! The man's expression changed and his eyelids flew open, revealing a pair of eyes that glinted with sharp golden light. He then got up and passed through the wall beside him. A scarlet-robed figure was flying over from the opposite direction that the armored man had gone. That is, the moment Jian Wushuang arrived at the huge pillar, he also saw the man in golden armor under it. I finally found someone after having traveling through this battlefield for so long. Though he was smiling, his heart felt heavy. The token that could sense his allies was not responding. That meant he had come across a Jin Kingdom expert. Golden armor? People from the Jin Kingdom wear golden armors. It might be a kind of systematically made magic weapon used for defense. Swoosh. The man in golden armor turned illusionary as he charged toward Jian Wushuang. Be careful, he's an advanced celestial master, Jiyu King said. He's an advanced celestial master? The same level as Patriarch of Empyrean Glory? Jian Wushuang's pupils contracted in shock and his expression became serious. However, he did not entertain thoughts of escaping. Before entering the Green Fire Palace, he would have immediately fled in such a scenario. Things were different now. I finally met someone on the battlefield and he's from the Jin Kingdom to boot, Jian Wushuang thought. This is my first encounter and fight with a Jin Kingdom expert. I'll definitely not retreat from this battle. Chapter 1100 First Battle. Chapter 1100 First Battle. Jian Wushuang's urge to battle reached its peak. He had drawn the Blood Mountain sword long ago. On the other hand, the man in gold armor, who had dashed forward at great speed from the stone pillar, looked extremely murderous. You're foolish to not have escaped after seeing me charge across. The man in gold armor's gaze was extremely cold. A giant gold hammer appeared in each of his hands, each one of them billions of catties heavy. The man struck just as he appeared before Jian Wushuang, the two giant hammers raining down upon Jian Wushuang at the same time. They certainly did not waste any time on words. Once the man in gold armor realized that Jian Wushuang was not one of his people, he immediately struck, and with a potentially lethal blow to boot. The Green Fire Palace had been warring with the Jin Kingdom for exactly 5 million years, and there were countless killings on both sides. As a result, both parties were already hell-bent on destroying each other. Humph! Jian Wushuang snorted coldly. At the same instant when the man in gold armor swung his giant hammers, Jian Wushuang had slashed angrily with the Blood Mountain sword, boundless power in his move. It was a swordsmanship called Bladed Surge from his coalescent sword principle. Bam! Bam! Two loud sounds from their weapons' clash rang out, as the giant hammers smashed simultaneously into the Blood Mountain sword. Jian Wushuang could feel the huge force of the blow and his figure shook. His arms were also a little numb from absorbing the impact of the blow. Burst forth, shouted Jian Wushuang angrily. The hidden force within the bladed surge formed into the second kind of power and it was also released. The man in gold armor said, as his expression changed slightly. His figure also could not help but retreat by a few steps. Heaven's bane! Jian Wushuang grasped his sword with both hands. He could feel vast amounts of ancient god power flowing into his arms, and soon the Blood Mountain sword was giving off a huge blood-red glow. He then released the extremely powerful sword light toward his opponent. The man in gold armor's gaze was electrifying and he was consumed by killing intent. In an instant, he channeled the power of an advanced celestial master and swung one of his hammers at Jian Wushuang with matching ferocity. The blow easily smashed through the void, destroying everything in its path. Both attacks were alarmingly strong and powerful, and there was a loud booming sound as they clashed. Jian Wushuang's figure flew backward as if it had been shot from a cannon, but the man in gold armor merely took a step back. From the clash, it was pretty evident that the man in gold armor had the upper hand. After arriving at the Green Fire Palace, I spent a year in the Tai Ching Palace practicing my skills. I then created the speed sword principle, and my strength has indeed increased, but the biggest strength of my sword principle is till speed. It's not suited for power and currently, I am only on par with a common advanced celestial master. This expert from the Jin Kingdom's strength, on the other hand, absolutely rivals that of a top advanced celestial master, Jian Wushuang thought. The man was, however, looking at Jian Wushuang in amazement. He lowered his voice and said, "From your aura, you're merely at the eternal realm, but you've possessed such great battle strength. Who are you? Why haven't I heard of your existence amongst the experts of the Green Fire Palace? My name is Jian Wushuang, replied Jian Wushuang coldly. His feet began to move the instant he stopped talking. A huge gaping hole immediately appeared in the void below Jian Wushuang's feet as his figure appeared phantom-like in a flash before the man in gold armor. He then swung his sword at his opponent with a swordsmanship that was weird and hard to discern. This speed, the man in gold armor said. He was surprised as he saw Jian Wushuang's attack drawing near. His opponent's speed was extremely great. The man immediately swung his giant hammers simultaneously. Jian Wushuang, on the other hand, put on a perfect display of the speed of his swordsmanship. Clang, 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 clang. As sounds of metal smashing into each other rang out, the void around the combatants had completely collapsed. Ripple after ripple of the impact from the clash spread out with amazing speed, resulting in the ground beneath them, which was already ruined, to be damaged further. It looked even more terrible. The man in gold armor was already striking with maximum effort, and even though each blow of his hammer carried huge power, Jian Wushuang could obviously handle the impact from their blows easily. He seemed to not be affected in the least bit and was clearly holding the upper hand in terms of speed. Humph, I don't have time to fool around with you, the man in gold armor grunted coldly. Suddenly, his body gave off a golden glow and two coarse and thick arms appeared out from the top of his shoulders, holding similar giant gold hammers like his other two arms. 4 arms, asked Jian Wushuang. He could not help but be stunned. What secret skill is this? 4 giant hammers came swinging at Jian Wushuang simultaneously. All of a sudden, he was flustered. Jian Wushuang could easily handle the attacks from 2 giant hammers. He even held the upper hand. Now, however, 4 giant hammers were swinging at him at the same time. The tables had completely turned on him, and he was even having trouble blocking the attacks. Dong, 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 dong. Heavy sounds rang across the sky as the giant hammers rained down on Jian Wushuang with alarming speed. He steeled himself and evaded the first attack. In the next instant, however, a fierce gleam flashed in his eyes. Die! Jian Wushuang hissed chillingly. A sword light was formed. Anyone who saw it would find it extremely beautiful and sorrowful at the same time. As it shot out toward Jian Wushuang's opponent, it blocked out all light from the surrounding sky. The man in gold armor could not help but stare at it as well. As he looked at the sword light, his pupils suddenly contracted. To his naked eye, the sword light was moving very slowly, but somehow his consciousness told him that it was coming toward him at an extremely fast speed. Also, as the sword light was formed, a faint echo from a sword also rang out. All of a sudden, a fearsome consciousness attack was directed at the man in gold armor. Not only did Jian Wushuang launch the consciousness attack, but he also utilized a portion of the killing intent inside his killing bead. He combined the consciousness attack with his killing intent on a direct assault on his opponent. What? The man felt his brain hurt, but luckily for him, it subsided quickly. He then lifted one of his hands, wishing to block Jian Wushuang's physical attack with a giant hammer, but it was moving too quickly for him. As he had also been momentarily stunned by the consciousness attack, there was no way he could completely block his opponent's sword. At last, the sword light slashed through the raised arm. The strong tearing force ripped his armor apart and sliced off half of the arm. The man was not flustered even after suffering the wound. His figure had retreated far away, and he turned to leave after giving Jian Wushuang a look of mixed emotions. Chapter 1101 One of Ours. Chapter 1101 One of Ours. Has he left? Jian Wushuang had no intention of chasing after the man in gold armor at all. In truth, even if his opponent remained behind, he had to leave. After all, he had expended his entire repertoire of swordsmanship but only managed to cut off one of the man's arms. His opponent could regenerate his arm back instantly, and he did not seem to have lost any of his battle strength. If the battle continued on, most likely Jian Wushuang would have lost. I perfected my death shadow by combining both essences of speed and slowness in it. Most importantly, my consciousness attack coupled with killing intent should have been even more powerful, but he easily blocked my consciousness attack. He didn't even seem to be affected much by it, thought Jian Wushuang, secretly surprised. To Jian Wushuang, even an advanced celestial master would have trouble blocking such an attack, much less be so unaffected by it. He's also a celestial master like Empyrean Patriarch, but this man is much stronger than him. His consciousness is especially powerful, muttered Jian Wushuang. These experts from the Jin Kingdom came from the eternal chaotic world, and more or less they have spent some time trying to make a living there. Naturally, they'll not be lacking in quality. The Green Fire Palace can hold its own with the Jin Kingdom because it has gained many treasures due to its strategic location, which is situated on a huge battlefield. If not, Jiyu King's voice rang in Jian Wushuang's mind again. Jian Wushuang could not hold in his laughter. He did not think too much about it, however, and he walked directly toward the bronze-colored stone pillar which the man in gold armor had been standing at previously. As he came to the front of the pillar, he saw the word kill carved into its center. The moment he saw the word kill, kill, roar after roar echoed in his mind as he felt a terrible surge of killing intent engulfing him. His pupils shrank violently as his figure flew backward by a few steps. He only lifted his head again once he was far away from the pillar. What a fearsome rush of killing intent it was. In fact, it's much stronger than that of mine, which was made using the killing bead, thought Jian Wushuang secretly. At the same time, he also realized something. No wonder that expert from the Jin Kingdom could withstand my consciousness attack easily. So he has been cultivating his skills all this while at this stone pillar. The terrible killing intent emanating from the word on the stone pillar could have been used to train one's consciousness. Evidently, the man in gold armor had stayed in front of the pillar to train his consciousness. As such, his consciousness was naturally extremely robust. Jian Wushuang, the killing intent in this word is formidable. Do you want to follow the Jin Kingdom expert's lead and stay here for a while more to practice? Jiyu King asked. Stay here to train my consciousness? Jian Wushuang considered the proposal for a while before finally shaking his head and replying, no, even though the surge of killing intent from this pillar is powerful, so is my consciousness. It won't have much effect on me, and it's not worth my time. Furthermore, the man from the Jin Kingdom has just left, and who's to say if he'll return after a while? Maybe he'll even bring other experts from the Jin Kingdom here. Therefore, it's still better for me to leave. Jian Wushuang made his decision and immediately left to seek his fortune in the vast battlefield surrounding him. Time slowly passed. The battlefield was too huge. Even though many celestial masters of the Green Fire Palace and the Jin Kingdom wandering about the battlefield, it was too vast for them to be noticeable. For the next 30 years, the last person Jian Wushuang met was the man in gold armor. He never saw anyone else. He spent all his energy to look for opportunities on the battlefield during this time. There were many opportunities to be found on the battlefield. Just the marks left behind by experts as they battled alone were numerous. Even though they had been made a very long time ago, they still contained much profound meaning. These could also be considered as opportunities. Jian Wushuang was sitting quietly by himself on a hill, but he kept his gaze fixed on the ground below him. There was a huge imprint of a claw on the ground. 5 incredibly deep claw marks could be seen. The claw marks stretched for 50,000 kilometers. Even though they were made many years ago, their power still had a chilling effect. It was an extremely violent and swift sort of power, and there were even signs of pure yang energy from the marks left behind. Jian Wushuang had been on the hill for exactly 2 years. During this time, he tried to understand the profundity of the message left behind by the claw marks. The move made with these claws was similar to his own Scarlet Yang Sword principle. They were both direct and made with pure yang energy. Even so, it was just a mark left during battle after all. Its owner had not left it behind on purpose, and there was no message contained in it. As such, Jian Wushuang felt that spending 2 years trying to figure it out was enough and got up to leave. He continued to move forward in the void, a faint smile on his lips. He had spent the past 30 years wandering in this uncharted territory by himself. Along the way, he met with some opportunities, and even though they were small ones, overall they increased his strength considerably. He had also managed to collect a few magic weapons and had managed to accumulate more than 2,000 points, therefore he considered himself to have profited quite a lot all in all. Just at this moment. All of a sudden, his expression changed and he stopped subconsciously. He fished out a token. It was the same token Tang Emperor gave him, and it could help him sense nearby companions. It was the first time he had encountered anyone from his own side since wandering around the battlefield after leaving the Green Fire Palace. Finally, I've managed to find someone on my side after all this time, and not to mention in this unknown territory. I'd better go over to say hi, Zhen Wushuang muttered with a faint smile. He then allowed the token to guide him toward the stranger. Two figures were floating side by side in front of a hill made up entirely of purple gems. One of them had a slender-looking face and was clad in black robes. He grew a beard and seemed to be of middle age. The other was a bright-eyed, short and hunchbacked elder. I can feel it. That thing should be underneath this hill, said the hunchbacked elder. Since that's the case, what are we waiting for? Let's go directly in, said the middle-aged man in black robes. Let's not hurry. Someone is approaching, said the hunchback as he turned his gaze to the void at their side, his face expressionless and inscrutable. Indeed, a figure was approaching slowly along his line of sight. Luckily, it's one of us, the hunchbacked elder laughed. Chapter 1102, Aren't Welcome. Chapter 1102, Aren't Welcome. In no time at all, Zhen Wushuang, who was clad in a scarlet robe and carrying a long sword on his back, had appeared in front of the two men. So, it's Celestial Master Meng Long and Celestial Master Yi, he said, cupping his hands together toward them. An Eternal Realm expert. The black-clad Celestial Master Meng Long and Celestial Master Yi, the hunchbacked elder, looked strangely at Zhen Wushuang. If I'm not mistaken, you must be Zhen Wushuang who just joined the Green Fire Palace, right? Asked Celestial Master Yi. That's me, said Zhen Wushuang, smiling slightly. Even though I've been wandering around this battlefield all these years, I've not returned back to the palace for a long time now. A good friend there mentioned you when he communicated to me, however. It's said that you're the son of Nan? Celestial Master Yi asked, his tone slightly cold. Zhen Wushuang was stunned for a while before nodding slightly. Humph, when your father was at the Green Fire Palace, he acted somewhat arrogantly. To think that you're even more unrestrained than he was. You're just but an Eternal Realm expert that got to possess the battle strength of a medium Celestial Master due to some extraordinary reasons. Even so, there are countless dangers in this battlefield that can kill you, yet you travel alone. Furthermore, you've even ventured so deeply into uncharted territory. Celestial Master Yi said in a low, deep voice. Celestial Master Meng Long, who was standing beside him, looked at Zhen Wushuang with a frown as well. One had to understand that the two Celestial Masters had ventured into this part of the battlefield together. Even though they were amongst the strongest of the medium Celestial Masters, they were also of advanced age and had possessed many life-saving skills. Most of the medium Celestial Masters of the Green Fire Palace dared not venture into this uncharted part of the battlefield alone. Take Celestial Master Silver Moon for example. Even though she traveled alone, she only wandered around known territory. It was supposed to be a low-risk zone, yet she met with danger and was killed by experts from the Jin Kingdom. So, for Zhen Wushuang, to venture alone into uncharted territory, and go deep into the area to boot, was an act no different to courting his own death in the eyes of the two Celestial Masters. Zhen Wushuang did not know how to react to Celestial Master Yi's questions. He felt they were both funny and annoying. Even so, he thought he should reply. I dare to venture alone into this uncharted area because I have support, you two kind sirs. Support? What support? You're way too arrogant, young man. You don't know how dangerous this battlefield can be. You'll regret once you encounter these dangers yourself, Celestial Master Yi said in a tone that sounded as if he was reprimanding Zhen Wushuang. Fine, since he wants to court his own death, there's nothing we can say to change his mind. Celestial Master Meng Long spoke up as well in a cold tone. Zhen Wushuang, if you don't have anything much, leave us. Also, let me remind you. You should quickly return back to the Green Fire Palace before you get into a really dangerous situation. Come back when you've become a Dao Master. Zhen Wushuang smiled bitterly as he heard the Celestial Master's comments. Since that's the case, I shall take my leave. He immediately turned and left after speaking. The Celestial Masters did not pay much attention to Jian Wushuang, and they casually walked toward the hill made of purple gems after he left. After a short while, however, roar. An angry roar accompanied by an alarming level of murderous aura rose up from the depths of the hill. Soon, two figures were also scampering out of the same spot. They were obviously Celestial Master Yi and Celestial Master Meng Long. Quickly run, Celestial Master Yi shouted. In an instant, both of them fled as fast as they could toward the void in front of them. Just as they dashed out from underneath the mountain, a weirdly shaped exotic beast made up entirely of purple gems emerged. Lightning crackled along its purple scales, and the killing intent it emanated engulfed the entire area. It immediately went after the two Celestial Masters with alarming speed. Jian Wushuang was traversing absent-mindedly in the void above the battlefield. "How does it feel to be turned away, kid?" Jiyu King teased. "I had just wanted to exchange greetings. Who would have expected them to not welcome me?" Jian Wushuang replied, a weird expression on his face. "Because of your mother, I'm afraid only a few of the experts in the Green Fire Palace will choose not to ignore you. If you wish to earn their respect, you have to prove your strength to them. Let them believe in your potential. As for now, you haven't achieved that," said Jiyu King, laughing. "I know that," replied Jian Wushuang with a bitter laugh. Suddenly, what's going on? Jian Wushuang took out his token again, and through it, he could clearly sense that Celestial Master Yi and Celestial Master Meng Long were coming in his direction with alarming speed. The distance between them kept diminishing. Such speed, this is an uncharted territory after all, and even I do not dare to travel too quickly. They don't seem to be traversing. Could it be that they're fleeing? Jian Wushuang thought. He stopped immediately and turned, rushing toward the two Celestial Masters. Soon, he saw what was happening. He could see the Celestial Masters fleeing for their lives, and a ferocious exotic beast covered entirely with purple scales was chasing after them. The exotic beast was giving off an extremely high amount of murderous aura, giving Jian Wushuang the chills. "What's that?" Jian Wushuang asked as he frowned. "It's a beast puppet," replied Jiyu King. "Beast puppet?" Jian Wushuang asked, momentarily stunned. He had only heard of puppet fighters, not beast puppets before. They are puppets made by experts from the eternal chaotic world by directly refining exotic beasts. Even though they are puppets, they've retained their original consciousnesses. The beast puppet you see most likely even has the battle strength of an exceptional realm Celestial Master, Jiyu King explained. "Is that so? No wonder the two Celestial Masters are fleeing," said Jian Wushuang as he finally knew what the beast exactly was. Celestial Master Yi and Celestial Master Meng Long could be considered as extremely strong amongst their peers, and they could have handled one or two ordinary advanced Celestial Masters. They would definitely not be fleeing in such a sorry fashion. They were, however, no match at all for this beast puppet, even if they joined forces. The beast puppet possesses amazing speed and should be catching up with them anytime now, Jian Wushuang said, his face stern. In the next instant, the Blood Mountain sword had appeared in his hand, and his figure immediately dashed forward. "Oh no, oh no." The faces of Celestial Master Yi and Celestial Master Meng Long were looking very terrible at the moment. The former was even covered with blood and his aura was weak. Evidently, he was seriously wounded and neither of them could have possibly survived if the beast puppet caught up with them. Just at this moment, they noticed that Jian Wushuang's figure was charging directly toward them from the void in front of them. Chapter 1103, Strike. Chapter 1103, Strike. Jian Wushuang? Not only is the kid not running away after seeing that we're being chased, instead, he's stupidly charging toward us. Is he looking to die? The Celestial Masters got even more angry after seeing Jian Wushuang dashing toward them. "Kid, run quickly." Celestial Master Yi even shouted sternly at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang did not heed his warning. He fixed his cold stare on the exotic beast. Swoosh. Jian Wushuang passed them by, appearing before the purple exotic beast. What's the kid doing? Does he really want to die? He's insane. The scene unfolding behind them shocked both Celestial Masters. Very quickly, they understood what Jian Wushuang was up to. His look grew more murderous as the power emanating from the Blood Mountain sword increased as well. He then slashed at the exotic beast with it. Heaven's bane! Jian Wushuang cried in a chilling tone. In an instant, he unleashed the full might of his power. The purple beast growled and swung a palm at Jian Wushuang casually. It wanted to smash the ant in front of it into pieces. Crash! A low crashing noise rang out and many sparks flew. A large amount of power began to disperse into the surroundings. Jian Wushuang's expression turned grim, and all of a sudden, his figure was swatted away and it crashed into a barren mountain at his side. The mountain split into two from the impact and huge amounts of loose rocks began raining down. The exotic beast, however, had stopped charging forward. Many scales had fallen off its palm that clashed with the Blood Mountain sword. Just like this, Jian Wushuang managed to stop the beast puppet's figure from moving forward. Boom! There was a loud booming sound as large amounts of loose rocks began flying out. Jian Wushuang re-emerged from the remains of the mountain. Unexpectedly, his aura was still strong and his complexion healthy. Evidently, the blow from the beast had not harmed him much. Celestial Master Yi and Celestial Master Meng Long, you two should leave first. Leave this fellow to me, Jian Wushuang said with a slight smile. The two Celestial Masters were a little dumbstruck now. They had personally experienced the terror of the purple beast, and Celestial Master Yi was seriously wounded by a blow from its palm. He had managed to survive because he used a protective treasure to absorb part of the impact from the blow. All in all, even if the exotic beast was not as strong as a real Celestial Master who had reached the exceptional realm, it was not too much weaker. How could Jian Wushuang had survived that blow and remained unscathed, they thought. They were shocked. Extremely shocked, to be exact. After recovering, they immediately reacted to his suggestion. Neither of them hesitated to accept his offer. Jian Wushuang, be careful yourself, said Celestial Master Yi. He then hurriedly left with Celestial Master Meng Long. Roar! The purple beast growled as it saw the two Celestial Masters leaving. The purple lightning surrounding its body began flowing, and its figure immediately gave chase. Jian Wushuang, however, had also begun to move. Stop, I say. He appeared phantom-like at its side, brandishing the Blood Mountain sword at the same time. In a flash, he had struck 4 times, all of them with amazing speed. They were directed straight at the beast's eyes. The beast had no choice but to shift its figure away from the attacks. At the same time, it struck at Jian Wushuang with the same palm, and this time, it was imbued with purple thunderbolts. As such, it was more powerful than the last attack. Jian Wushuang shifted his figure and dodged the attack easily. The palm of the beast struck the void where Jian Wushuang used to stand, smashing it into dust. The world-shattering power of the blow caused Jian Wushuang's pupils to contract involuntarily. What power! This beast puppet's battle strength is borderline Celestial Master's exceptional realm, Jian Wushuang thought secretly. He could not withstand the repeated attacks from a Celestial Master at the exceptional realm, but he possessed exceptional defensive capabilities and could still hold the beast up for a while more. Buzz! The void around them shook. The purple scales of the exotic beast had stood up after it missed its target, and huge amounts of purple thunderbolts rose from its body, shattering the void around it. This power then formed into a giant electric net dropping down upon Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang struck with his sword. As the powerful sword light hit the electrical net, however, it quickly dissipated. My attack couldn't slash the net open? Jian Wushuang thought. He was shocked, and to make matters worse, the net was still descending upon him, its momentum unchecked. Whoosh! An awe-inspiring amount of power burst forth from Jian Wushuang's body, but it quickly dissipated after a while. Jian Wushuang was still standing perfectly well at his original spot. He raised a hand to pat the corner of his robe, but he began to smile faintly. The beast puppet's strength is close to Celestial Master's exceptional realm and much higher than mine. That said, it still will be unable to hit me, thought Jian Wushuang, secretly pleased. Roar! The beast growled as it fixed its murderous gaze on Jian Wushuang. Because of him, the Celestial Masters had long escaped. It's extremely strong in terms of attack, speed, and defense. I'm not its match, and I'd better leave while I can, Jian Wushuang thought, smiling slightly. He then immediately put his dragon blood secret skill to use. The first level of the secret skill increased Jian Wushuang's speed by tenfold immediately. He fled with amazing speed, and the purple beast was hell-bent on giving chase, but the distance between them kept increasing. Soon, its target was completely gone from its line of sight. The Celestial Masters were quietly waiting for Jian Wushuang amongst ruins. Both of them had mixed emotions. Not long after, Jian Wushuang's figure appeared, traversing toward them from the void at a considerable distance away. "Are you two all right?" Jian Wushuang asked, laughing heartily as he saw the two Celestial Masters, especially the elderly hunchback. "I was only slightly wounded, and will recover after doing the closed-door training for a while," replied Celestial Master Yi. He then lifted his head to look at Jian Wushuang before continuing in a tone that made him sound guilty. "Jian Wushuang, before," he said. "What happened earlier was a trivial matter. Please don't take it to heart," Jian Wushuang laughed. It was the truth, he had not taken it seriously. "I'm ashamed, I really am," sighed Celestial Master Yi as he shook his head. "Jian Wushuang, we were too conceited. We would like to apologize and thank you for your help earlier on," Celestial Master Meng Long chipped in. They felt ashamed of their actions from the bottom of their heart. Previously, they had not welcomed Jian Wushuang when he came over to exchange greetings. Celestial Master Yi was especially hostile to him, and even reprimanded him for a bit. He had described Jian Wushuang's action of venturing alone into the uncharted territory as akin to courting his own death. But, what happened after that? If it were not for Jian Wushuang's intervention, both of them would have died there and then in the hands of the beast puppet. Chapter 1104, Chaos Divine Thunder. Chapter 1104, Chaos Divine Thunder. Jian Wushuang, I was capitalizing too much on my seniority when I spoke earlier. I'm sorry, Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang felt it extremely funny to see two men continuously apologizing to him. He understood that the two Celestial Masters had encouraged him to return back to the Green Fire Palace earlier on because they did not know the extent of his strength. They had just spoken in a harsher tone, but they had good intentions. As such, Jian Wushuang did not take it to heart. Furthermore, when they were being chased by the exotic beast, they had told him to flee when they saw him charging toward them. It proved that even though they did not welcome him, they saw him as one of their own. "Both of you don't have to do this," Jian Wushuang said. He laughed helplessly. After exchanging a few pleasantries, Jian Wushuang began to ask the Celestial Masters about the beast. "What's going on with that purple beast earlier on?" The Celestial Masters exchanged glances before the old hunchback began to explain. "Two of the Daos I created have something to do with thunderbolts. When I passed by the Purple Mountain, I could sense something deep inside me, as if there was something within its depths. As such, I sneaked with Celestial Master Meng Long into its core to check it out. Indeed, I saw a giant axe at the bottom of the mountain. The axe was giving off an extremely strong aura, and electricity was flowing around it. It was definitely a very good piece of treasure, but when I decided to take it for my own, the purple beast appeared and grievously wounded me with a swipe of its palm. Both of us had to put aside all thoughts about keeping the giant axe and we began to flee. The exotic beast, however, kept chasing after us. As for what happened next, I believe you saw it. Is that so?" Jian Wushuang asked as he nodded. Secretly, however, he began thinking. A magic weapon that could give off such a strong aura is most definitely not an emperor weapon. At the very least, it has to be a chaos magic weapon. It might even be a chaos magic treasure. Chaos magic weapons were much more valuable than emperor weapons. High-level weapons of this kind were worth even more, and if the giant axe turned out to be a chaos magic treasure, it would be a weapon of the rarest kind. Jian Wushuang could not ignore the fact that a rare treasure that was at least a chaos magic weapon had been discovered. "Celestial Master Yi, I hear that you use a giant axe as a weapon," asked Jian Wushuang. He had got some intel on various experts of the Green Fire Palace from Celestial Master Yu Ding long ago, and because of this, he managed to recognize the two Celestial Masters at a glance. Naturally, He also knew what sort of weapons they used. Right, I use a giant axe as my weapon. That one hidden underneath the purple mountain is very suitable for me, replied Celestial Master Yi solemnly. Since that's the case, we should think of a way to get it, said Jian Wushuang cheerfully. The Celestial Masters looked at each other. They had the same intent as Jian Wushuang, but they also felt that they were incapable of getting the giant axe. Jian Wushuang, do you have a way to take the axe from the purple beast? Asked Celestial Master Yi as he turned his gaze toward Jian Wushuang. There's a way, said Jian Wushuang with a faint smile. If I didn't guess wrongly, the beast is neither interested in the axe, nor has it been tasked to protect the weapon. If not, it would not have chased after you two for such a great distance. The Celestial Masters nodded profusely, evidently agreeing with Jian Wushuang's statement. If that's the case, things will be much easier. I'll distract the beast and lure it away, while you two take the opportunity to sneak the giant axe out, said Jian Wushuang mirthfully. The plan is easy to execute, but our main concern is still the purple beast's strength. Jian Wushuang, can you escape in one piece if you try to distract its attention? Asked Celestial Master Yi with a frown. I can, replied Jian Wushuang confidently. Didn't I escape in one piece just now? The Celestial Masters believed him upon seeing how confident he was. Since that's the case, we'll be relying on you, Jian Wushuang. We'll discuss how to share the axe after we've succeeded, Celestial Master Yi said. Fine, said Celestial Master Meng Long as he nodded solemnly. No problem, said Jian Wushuang, before laughing carefreely, as if he did not care who the axe landed with. Soon, Jian Wushuang moved out. He retraced his steps back to the mountain made up of purple gems and then headed directly underground. He arrived at the bottom of the mountain and saw the huge axe not long after. That's the axe? Asked Jian Wushuang as he became aware of and began to perceive the weapon's presence. The aura emanating from the axe made him a little surprised. From the aura it's giving off, it should be a chaos magic treasure, but somehow it's incomplete. If I didn't guess wrongly, this giant axe should be damaged, Jiyu King's voice rang out. A broken piece of chaos magic treasure, said Jian Wushuang, momentarily stunned. Jian Wushuang himself possessed a damaged chaos divine treasure, the mountain river map. He knew that the damage would devalue the item considerably, but even so, it was still more valuable than ordinary chaos magic weapons. This is... Jiyu King suddenly grew curious. What's wrong? Jian Wushuang asked multiple times. You're in luck, Jian Wushuang, replied Jiyu King, laughing. What do you mean? Asked Jian Wushuang, bewildered. There's no question that the giant axe is indeed a damaged chaos magic treasure, and that the axe is of little use to you, a sword user. There's chaos divine thunder hidden within it, however, and that'll come in handy for you, said Jiyu King. Chaos divine thunder? Asked Jian Wushuang, a little stunned. It's extremely powerful and rarely seen even in the eternal chaotic world. My guess is that the axe's owner was extremely strong when he or she was alive, and skilled in Thunderbolt Dao. It's probably the reason why he hid Chaos the Divine Thunder in his weapon, most likely. He wanted to surprise his enemy, replied Jiyu King. Jian Wushuang, didn't you use to practice the Divine Yin Thunder on Star Island? Asked Jiyu King. Yes, Jian Wushuang replied as he nodded subconsciously. He had mastered the secret skill on Star Island, and it was a rather powerful technique. When he was still weak, the technique helped him in many ways, but after his strength grew, he seldom used it anymore, especially now that his battle strength was already on par with an advanced celestial master. After all, if he still wanted to improve on the technique, he had to acquire plenty of power from thunderbolts. As such, he had no way of improving on it while in the green fire world. Now that Jiyu King brought the technique up, Jian Wushuang thought. Jiyu King, are you trying to suggest that the Chaos Divine Thunder can help improve my Divine Yin Thunder secret skill? Asked Jian Wushuang. Of course, replied Jiyu King cheerfully. The Chaos Divine Thunder is high-level stuff. Just a thunderbolt could help your Divine Yin Thunder secret skill break through into level 3. When that happens, your overall strength will definitely have improved greatly. Chapter 1105, Getting the Axe. Chapter 1105, Getting the Axe. Level 3, asked Jen Wushuang. He could not help but feel tempted. He had managed to cultivate the Divine Yin Thunder secret skill to level 2 on Star Island with a great deal of labor. This secret skill had never been improved since then. However, if it broke through into level 3, that definitely would give his strength a big boost. Looks like I definitely have to get my hands on the Chaos Divine Thunder, Jen Wushuang thought as he licked his lips. Firstly, he had to get the giant axe. I shall act directly then. Jen Wushuang did not hesitate and dashed toward the magic weapon. The purple beast immediately picked up his movements the moment he drew near. Roar! An ear-splitting roar reverberated across the entire chasm as the huge body of the exotic beast dashed out from its resting place with alarming speed, covered with lightning. In an instant, it appeared before Jen Wushuang, and it clawed at the intruder with its sharp talons. Jen Wushuang's expression remained calm as the Blood Mountain sword appeared in his hand. He then casually struck at the claws of his opponent with it. Clang! The sound of metal clashing against metal rang out, and Jen Wushuang's figure retreated quickly away. Damned human, the beast hissed. Its gaze was extremely murderous. It had recognized Jen Wushuang. It then continued attacking in a fit of rage. This time, the beast had no plans to allow the accursed human to escape again. Soon, two figures, one chasing and the other fleeing, could be seen bursting out from underground as they dashed toward the surrounding void. Just as the beast was lured out of hiding by Jen Wushuang, Celestial Master Yi and Celestial Master Meng Long, who had remained in hiding all this while, acted immediately. They snuck into the chasm and located the giant axe before absorbing it into an interspatial ring. The hunchbacked Celestial Master Yi then sent a message to Jen Wushuang to keep him updated. Have they already got the axe? Jen Wushuang thought. A smile appeared on his lips as he received the message. He did not want to waste any more time with the beast and shook it off easily with his Dragon Blood secret skill. He then gathered with the Celestial Masters in a spot within the void. Celestial Master Yi, take out the giant axe quickly for us to see, said Celestial Master Meng Long happily. Sure, replied his companion readily. He then drew out the weapon with a wave of his hand. Its power is extremely great, much more than normal chaos magic weapons, to be exact. It should already be classified as the chaos magic treasure, right? Asked Celestial Master Meng Long as he stared at the axe. It's definitely a chaos magic treasure, but it's a pity that it has been damaged and not as powerful as it used to be, replied Celestial Master Yi regretfully. Even if it's not as powerful as it used to be, it's still much more powerful than the magic weapon you're using, retorted Celestial Master Meng Long as he rolled his eyes. Haha, you're right, laughed Celestial Master Yi, seeming extremely happy. His expression grew solemn after the usual show of humility. Jen Wushuang, Celestial Master Meng Long, I managed to get this giant axe because of help from the both of you, especially Jen Wushuang. It's extremely valuable and should fetch close to 20,000 fire points. I wish to give the two of you my 15,000 fire points that I've accumulated painstakingly over the years. It'll up to both of you to divide them amongst yourselves, he suggested. He sounded extremely sincere. The giant axe was extremely suitable for him and obviously not for Jen Wushuang or Celestial Master Meng Long. As such, logically the weapon should go to him, but he had to offer a suitable amount of fire points to both of them in return. The giant axe's value was somewhere near what he said, 20,000 fire points. As such, his offer of 15,000 fire points to be split amongst his two accomplices was extremely generous. After all, he had also put in a considerable amount of effort into obtaining the weapon. If he had not felt its presence earlier on, none of them would have discovered the weapon in the first place. It's all due to your sharp senses, Celestial Master Yi, and your act of luring the purple beast away, Jen Wushuang, that we managed to obtain the giant axe. I didn't contribute at all and I can't possibly accept the offer of fire points, said Celestial Master Meng Long with a laugh. Unexpectedly, Jen Wushuang also shook his head. The giant axe was discovered by you first, Celestial Master Yi, and naturally it should go to you. As for drawing the beast away, it was nothing. I don't want the fire points. If you really wish to thank me, I have a request to make, he said. A request? Asked Celestial Master Yi as he looked toward Jen Wushuang. Speak your mind, my young friend, he said readily. The Celestial Master considered Jian Wushuang to have saved the lives of both his companion and himself earlier on, and Jian Wushuang had even distracted the exotic beast so that they could obtain the giant axe. As such, he was truly grateful to Jian Wushuang, and he would have agreed to any request, as long as it was within his means. When I saw the giant axe, I noticed that there's an extremely strong piece of Chaos Divine Thunder contained with it. I don't suppose you could give it to me, asked Jian Wushuang. Chaos Divine Thunder, asked the Celestial Master with a frown. In truth, he knew what was hidden in the weapon after becoming its master. There's indeed Chaos Divine Thunder in this axe. It should have been left behind by its previous owner. It is of not much use to me, and you can take it if you wish to, young friend, he agreed. Then I shall thank you for your kindness, said Jian Wushuang, feeling pleased. Celestial Master Yi drew the Chaos Divine Thunder in the axe out, allowing Jian Wushuang to transfer it into his body carefully. It was a rather successful operation. Even though the Chaos Divine Thunder was in Jian Wushuang's body now, it was still not under his control. He would have to refine it completely before he could slowly absorb its power and cultivate his own Divine Yin Thunder secret skill to greater levels. Now that I've obtained the Chaos Divine Thunder, I have to go somewhere to do the closed-door training for a while. You two do not have to wait for me, please continue to seek for opportunities, said Jian Wushuang with a smile. Since that's the case, we'll take our leave, the Celestial Masters said. They then set off quickly. After they left, Jian Wushuang found a quiet spot and built a temporary cave mansion for himself. He sat cross-legged in the cave mansion, feeling the powers of 2 thunderbolts beating within himself. They were the Divine Yin Thunder, which he had cultivated from his secret skill, and the Chaos Divine Thunder within the giant axe from the purple beast's lair. He wanted to refine the Chaos Divine Thunder and absorb it slowly into his Divine Yin Thunder. Let's begin, Jian Wushuang exclaimed. He let out a stream of air lightly and immediately began the refining process. Chapter 1106, Sinkhole. Chapter 1106, Sinkhole. In a flash, 8 years passed by. Haha, I've succeeded. Jian Wushuang opened his eyes and there was a gold thunderbolt flashing past his eyes. He had shut himself in the cave mansion for 8 years. He had finally reached level 3 of the Divine Yin Thunder secret skill. At the first level of the skill, he could produce the most ordinary black thunderbolts. At level 2, they turned scarlet. And now, at level 3 of the skill, he could produce gold thunderbolts. They contained extremely ferocious power which was at least 10 times more than that of the scarlet thunderbolts produced at level 2 of the skill. When this secret skill reached level 2, it had little impact on my overall strength. Now that it has reached level 3, it'll help increase the power of my swordsmanships once I learn to combine both together. My overall power could even reach a new level, he thought. Currently, I'm faster than the advanced Celestial Masters, but in terms of power, I'm much weaker than them. Now that I have reached a higher level of proficiency in Divine Yin Thunder, the power of my swordsmanships will increase, thereby solving the issue of my power shortage. I'm definitely much stronger than before. Jian Wushuang clenched his fists together. He was feeling somewhat expectant. He wanted to test his strength against an opponent to see how much he had improved. He had no luck finding any expert from the Jin Kingdom in the vast battlefield, however. In fact, he had only encountered one after wandering for so many years. I can only wait for the next opportunity, Jian Wushuang thought, trying hard to suppress his desire to fight. After successfully achieving level 3 proficiency in Divine Yin Thunder, Jian Wushuang left the cave mansion and resumed his journey, casually wandering about in the battlefield. It seemed boundless, it was huge. Also, it was fraught with many natural perilous places. They were so dangerous that even any of the 5 Green Fire Palace Masters could die if they stepped into the traps by accident. Needless to say, the probability of an ordinary Celestial Master dying from falling into the traps was even higher. 5 years after he achieved a breakthrough in the Divine Yin Thunder secret skill, Jian Wushuang came to a place that had an extremely peculiar landscape. This is. Jian Wushuang studied the ground in front of him, looking a little awestruck. As far as he could see, There was a pitch-black bottomless sinkhole on the ground. Jian Wushuang's eyesight was extremely sharp now, and the sinkhole had to be at least more than 33 kilometers if he could not see its bottom, even after utilizing the Scarlet Eye secret skill. Furthermore, it was much, much too wide. All Jian Wushuang could see was the sinkhole. It stretched for at least 3,000 kilometers. How was such a huge sinkhole formed? Could it be also created by a fight between experts? Uttered Jian Wushuang in awe. That's highly possible, nodded Jiyu King solemnly inside Jian Wushuang. There are countless experts in the eternal chaotic world, and some of them, like the creator of the star bloodline and King Luo Zhan, the 8-star imperial god, are so powerful that they can easily destroy an eternal world with a simple move. The sinkhole in front of you could very possibly be created by one punch of such an expert, he continued. From one punch? Jian Wushuang asked. He cleared his throat and took in a deep, cold breath. Just at this moment. Jian Wushuang, look quickly toward your left, Jiyu King said hurriedly. Jian Wushuang did as told, his pupils immediately shrinking. Using the Scarlet Eye secret skill, he could clearly see a golden glow less than 30 kilometers far away from his left. Even though it was extremely faint and hard for even an ordinary celestial master to spot, Jian Wushuang still managed to notice it. He immediately dashed toward the glow without hesitation. He covered the distance between the glow and himself in an instant, appearing in front of it. This is, Jian Wushuang said, looking pleasantly surprised as he saw the true color of the golden glow. Ancient god power, he exclaimed. Jian Wushuang kept his gaze fixed squarely on the 4 golden droplets of water. He knew very clearly what sort of power they contained. Before he had left the Green Fire Palace, Tang Emperor had given him a similar droplet. It turned out to be the ancient god power. 4 droplets of ancient god power? Asked Jian Wushuang, pleasantly surprised. He then kept them in his interspatial ring. You're in luck, aren't you, Jian Wushuang? Teased Jiyu King. Ha ha, laughed Jian Wushuang readily. Indeed, he was in luck. There were many uses for the ancient god power, especially for Jian Wushuang. At the Firepoint Exchange Office, 1 droplet of ancient god power was worth exactly 5,000 fire points. As such, the 4 droplets he just collected was worth 20,000 fire points. They were worth as much as the valuable giant axe obtained by Celestial Master Yi much earlier. Soon, however, Jian Wushuang began to look doubtful. How did 4 droplets of ancient god power come to be suspended above the sinkhole, he thought. He turned his gaze toward the pitch-black, bottomless sinkhole below him subconsciously. At this moment, a booming sound suddenly came from the bottom of the sinkhole. Jian Wushuang then felt the land around him starting to shake violently. What's going on? Jian Wushuang asked, frowning. Jian Wushuang, I have a bad feeling about this. You had better leave while you can, said Jiyu King solemnly. I feel the same way, Jian Wushuang replied, squinting. He then dashed toward the void at some distance away, not daring to stay for even a little while. Not long after he began to move, however, the booming sound grew louder, before something exploded out of the sinkhole. A bone-chilling force was rising out. It looked like a long-dormant volcano erupting. It was terrible. A terrible force. The moment the force rose out from the sinkhole, the void above it began to disintegrate like paper. The force contained huge shearing power, and it destroyed the area and everything around it. That's not good, exclaimed Jian Wushuang, his expression changing. Flee, Jian Wushuang. Flee quickly, roared Jiyu King. Jian Wushuang had reacted extremely swiftly. The moment he could sense the booming sound, he immediately dashed toward the void at the edge of the sinkhole, but the twisting force was still moving too quickly for him. He had just reached the border of the sinkhole and had yet to escape from it, when the force caught up with him. Chapter 1107, Blood Cold Wind. Chapter 1107, Blood Cold Wind. Boom. In an instant, a fearsome gale with huge twisting force struck Jian Wushuang. He immediately grunted in pain and started burning the spiritual power in his body as fuel to utilize the 2nd level of his Dragon Blood secret skill. His speed immediately increased to 100 times faster, and he tried his best to withstand the impact from the blast. In the end, he managed to force his way out of the void which the sinkhole was at as well as the impact radius of the gale. He was deathly pale as he stood on the void away from the sinkhole. He spat out a large mouthful of blood, and he could feel that his aura had been diminished to pitiful levels. Luckily, I'm still alive, even though I was seriously wounded. Jian Wushuang wiped away the bloodstains on the corner of his mouth and raised his head again, turning his gaze back to the void surrounding the sinkhole. The fearsome gale was still sweeping around, smashing anything in its path to bits. The scene caused the corners of Jian Wushuang's mouth to twitch. He still had a lingering fear of the gale. It's too dangerous, Jian Wushuang thought. He was in grave danger moments ago, and if his reaction had been only a fraction slower, or if his speed was slightly slower, his figure would definitely have been smashed to smithereens by the impact from the gale. He doubted there would even be any remains of himself left. The epicenter of the gale should be the center of the sinkhole. I was only standing at the side of the sinkhole, which was far from its core. Even so, I was seriously wounded even with the protection of the blood-killing plate armor and the golden image secret skill. Furthermore, the blast only lasted for a while. Jian Wushuang muttered in awe, his eyes still full of shock. Jian Wushuang, if I didn't see wrongly, this gale should be the blood-cold wind, something which is seen rarely even in the eternal chaotic world. Not only does it contain a terrible twisting power, but the chilling effect it causes is also even more alarming. Most of your wounds were caused by this chilling effect, Jiyu King explained. Blood-cold wind? Jian Wushuang asked. When he briefly made contact with the gale earlier, he had indeed felt an extremely chilly energy rush into his body. Normally, it's very hard for the blood-cold wind to form, but the sinkhole before you just now managed to create such a huge amount of it. If I didn't guess wrongly, there must be some treasure hidden deep within it. It must be something that's very chilly and contains an extreme amount of yin energy. Also, it must be extremely valuable, said Jiyu King. So what if there's treasure inside the sinkhole? I can't get to it, even if it's a chaos divine treasure, said Jian Wushuang bitterly. That's true, said Jiyu King as he nodded in agreement. He then remained silent. Both of them knew that there definitely was some sort of treasure at the bottom of the sinkhole, and it was of the extremely rare variety. Even so, they had no way of obtaining it. After all, Jian Wushuang had barely survived a blast of the gale. Who knew what dangers would be waiting for them at the bottom of the sinkhole? As such, Jian Wushuang could only stand by anxiously. He stood silently at the edge of the sinkhole as Jiyu King slowly began to patch him up. Before long, the terrible blood-cold wind had also abated. Even the void that had been damaged by the gale had been restored. It was peaceful once again, as if nothing had ever happened before. Even so, Jian Wushuang, who had just escaped with his life, did not dare to step close to the sinkhole again. He did not leave, however. He just stood nearby in silence, quietly waiting. After about 1 hour, a booming sound rose from the bottom of the sinkhole again. Is it starting again? Jian Wushuang fled to a safe distance far away from the sinkhole, his gaze remaining fixed on it. Indeed, with a loud sound, the blood-cold wind rose out from the sinkhole again. It destroyed everything in its path like the previous gale did. This time, Jian Wushuang was far away and unaffected by the gale. He only quietly observed the entire proceedings. The blood-cold wind lasted for about the same time that one needed to take 10 breaths, before it abated again. 10 breaths. Jian Wushuang thought as he squinted. The previous gale also lasted for around the same duration. Jian Wushuang remained at the same spot, constantly observing gale after gale. 10 days passed by in a jiffy. Within these 10 days, the blood-cold wind kept rising out of the sinkhole, and Jian Wushuang kept a close watch on it. He had already spotted the pattern of the gale's occurrence. The blood-cold wind only gets activated once every hour, and it lasts for the same duration. I take 10 breaths every time. Apart from that, each time it comes, it'll carry some ancient god power along with it. When it dies down, some of that power remains behind, Jian Wushuang thought. He remained in observation at the same spot for 10 days, witnessing countless gusts of blood-cold wind rising out from the sinkhole. He noticed a droplet of ancient god power left behind after one such gale abated, leading him to realize that not only was there a treasure of extreme yin energy in the sinkhole, there was also plenty of ancient god power in it as well. The ancient god power was extremely pure and condensed by at least 6-star ancient god. Naturally, even the blood-cold wind could not easily destroy such power, and as a result, it must have remained intact at the bottom of the sinkhole. Jian Wushuang now understood why he managed to see 4 droplets of ancient god power at the sinkhole earlier on. After coming to a complete understanding of the regularity of the gales, he took out his animal hide map. The location I'm currently at is. After identifying his location on the map, he left a mark which contained a message. The message was about the uniqueness of the sinkhole, as well as the regularity of the gales. Aside, Jian Wushuang also named the sinkhole Chilliwind Valley. This vast battlefield is fraught with dangers. Who knows how many places like Chilliwind Valley can be found in it? Now that I've found and marked one, the chances of survival of Green Fire Palace experts who choose to wander in it will increase slightly, Jian Wushuang said with a faint smile. The other experts from the Green Fire Palace would also mark their maps in a similar fashion when they came to new places or danger zones in previously uncharted territory. After returning to the Green Fire Palace, they would hand over their maps to the respective palace masters, who would reorganize them and pass on information about the newly discovered danger zones to every expert still wandering in the battlefield, so that they could avoid going into these areas and remain safe. As a member of the Green Fire Palace, Jian Wushuang had to play his part. He still remained standing in the void at the edge of Chilliwind Valley. He was in no hurry to leave. Just at this moment, a message was transmitted to him via the token in his interspatial ring. Chapter 1108, An Order. Chapter 1108, An Order. What? Jian Wushuang asked. His expression changed the instant he read the message. Coordinates to a zone on the battlefield were included the message, as well as an order. The order was personally sent by Void Temple Master, one of the 5 Green Fire Palace Masters. He wanted all experts wandering in the battlefield to proceed with utmost urgency to the zone. Those too far away from the given coordinates were exempted, but those that were near had to rush over immediately. What caused Void Temple Master to send out such an order? Thought Jian Wushuang, still feeling surprised. He then immediately took out the map to the battlefield again. The coordinates sent by the Temple Master are over here. Very quickly, Jian Wushuang had located the zone which Void Temple Master wanted the experts to proceed to. It was also in uncharted territory. This zone is not too far away from me, and I can reach there in a month at my current speed, thought Jian Wushuang. 1 month's journey was considered short in the boundless battlefield. Let's set off quickly. Originally, Jian Wushuang had planned to remain at Chilliwind Valley for a while more to see if more ancient god power or perhaps even other treasures would come out from the sinkhole, but he dared not delay carrying out Void Temple Master's order and set off immediately. His wounds had healed a long time ago, during the 10 days he spent observing the gales. Naturally, his speed was extremely fast. At the same moment he received the message, many other Green Fire Palace experts also received the same order. Void Temple Master sent out this order personally to us? What's so urgent? Something big must have happened in this zone. Could it be the discovery of a new secret land? Or perhaps a big opportunity? Something big must have happened. It's a pity that the zone is far from where I am, way too far, to be exact. Even if I put everything down now and rush there at maximum speed, I'll need at least a few centuries' time to reach there. The incident must have long blown over by then. It's too far away. I can't do anything as I couldn't possibly make it in time to help. Those experts that were currently extremely far away from the zone were surprised to receive the order, but all of them ended up shaking their heads helplessly. The zone was too far away for them, and these experts would need centuries to arrive there. Furthermore, one had to factor in the potential dangers that they would be faced with. Evidently, there was no way they could make it in time to provide assistance. The other experts that were already nearby or even not too far away from the zone immediately made their way there. There must be some huge opportunity that showed itself. Otherwise, the Temple Master would not have asked so many of us to go to the zone. That said, nobody knows what sort of opportunity it would be. I'm so looking forward to knowing what it is. Let's go, let's move immediately. The opportunity may have already been seized by others by the time we get there. Many celestial masters from the Green Fire Temple were rushing over to the zone at top speed. At the same time, something was happening in the void far away from the zone. An indifferent-looking man who was carrying a long sword on his back was bashing his way through all the obstacles in his path, as if he had turned into a sharp sword himself. He was just a celestial master, but the speed which he was traveling at was far beyond the capabilities of his peers. The man was Sunrise Sword Emperor. He was also advancing at maximum speed toward the zone. Two figures were waiting quietly at a vast wasteland, and not before long, a black spot appeared at the limits of their lines of sight. "He's here," said the short hunchbacked elder, a smile appearing on his face. The black spot gradually grew bigger, and a figure appeared before them shortly after. "We meet again," Celestial Master Yi and Celestial Master Meng Long greeted Jian Wushuang with a smile. "How have you been, Jian Wushuang, my young friend?" asked the Celestial Masters as they smiled too. Although they had gone their separate ways, all three of them were wandering around the same area and they were not far away from each other. Naturally, they would meet again after receiving the Temple Master's message. "I believe the two of you are also going to the zone?" asked Jian Wushuang. "Do you know the reason why we're told to go there?" he continued asking. The Celestial Masters shook their heads. "Even though I don't know what the call is all about, but I've been in the Green Fire Palace for so long and haven't received many messages of this nature. I believe that something big must have happened in that zone," replied Celestial Master Yi solemnly. "If that's the case, let's not dally around any longer. We should set off immediately." Without waiting any longer, Jian Wushuang joined the Celestial Masters in their journey toward the zone. They arrived at their destination 1 month later. Only after arriving did they realize that the zone was actually made up of an endless chain of mountains, and there were many towering mountain ranges in it. "I've never been to this place before. Let's be extra careful," said Celestial Master Yi. "Right," nodded Jian Wushuang gently. Suddenly, he sensed something. At the same time, this case happened to the two Celestial Masters as well. They could sense the presence of an expert from the Green Fire Palace from their tokens, and apparently, the expert was moving at an alarming pace. "Seems like he or she is fleeing," asked Celestial Master Yi with a frown. He or she could be fleeing or chasing after an enemy, another expert from the Jin Kingdom, for example. "Let's go to get a closer look for ourselves," said Jian Wushuang. The three of them immediately hurried off to their comrade's location. The expert had also seemed to sense their presence through his or her token. He was changing direction and moving toward them now. After a while, they saw the expert. "It's Celestial Master Jin Chu," said Celestial Master Yi emotionally. "Just by himself," exclaimed Celestial Master Meng Long, similarly emotional. Celestial Master Jin Chu was a medium Celestial Master of the Green Fire Palace and considered as weaker compared to his peers. As such, under normal circumstances, he would be traveling with companions in uncharted territory. Now, however, he was by himself. Not only was he traveling alone, but his aura was also extremely weak and his complexion very pale. Evidently, he was also wounded seriously and two figures in gold armor were chasing after him. The Jin Kingdom. Its experts from the Jin Kingdom. The eyes of the Celestial Masters glinted as they noticed the figures in gold armor as their killing intent surged. "Let's go." Jian Wushuang growled as the Blood Mountain sword appeared in his hand. He took a huge step forward, moving toward Celestial Master Jin Chu before the others. Celestial Master Yi and Celestial Master Meng Long followed closely behind. Chapter 1109, Forced to Retreat. Chapter 1109, Forced to Retreat. Experts from the Green Fire Palace. As Jian Wushuang and the two Celestial Masters dashed toward them, the two experts from the Jin Kingdom noticed their presence. "Humph, Celestial Master Yi and Celestial Master Meng Long are only middle ranking, while the other one is just a useless Eternal Realm rookie. No need to bother about them, let's continue chasing our target. Celestial Master Jin Chu is worth exactly 3 life elixirs," exclaimed one of the Jin Kingdom experts, a purple-haired burly man. The experts from the Jin Kingdom also had some knowledge of a few Celestial Masters from the Green Fire Palace. It was how they identified Celestial Master Yi and Celestial Master Meng Long. The eyes of the other expert were also focused upon Celestial Master Jin Chu. The speed of both pursuers did not decrease in the least bit. This surprised Zhen Wushuang and his companions. Why are they still in pursuit after noticing our presence? What foolhardiness, said Celestial Master Yi with a chilly gaze. One of them is an advanced Celestial Master, while the other a middle-ranking one. How dare they be so conceited, added Celestial Master Meng Long, rage burning in his eyes as well. Leave the advanced Celestial Master to me. I'll let you guys handle the middle-ranking one, said Zhen Wushuang. Right, said Celestial Master Yi, nodding. No problem, added Celestial Master Meng Long. They had personally witnessed Zhen Wushuang's strength, and it was because of his presence that they remarked about the foolishness of the two Jin Kingdom experts. Shortly after, the three of them met up with the experts from the Jin Kingdom. Zhen Wushuang was holding onto the Blood Mountain sword. It was bursting with strong power. He charged before his companions and slashed with the sword when he got close enough to touch his opponent. Heaven's Bane, he exclaimed. A majestic ray of sword light of pure yang energy sliced through the void in front of it, and a golden thunderbolt merged with it as it shot out, causing it to become more piercing to his opponent's eyes. It also increased the pressure felt by the expert from the Jin Kingdom. Piss off, you foolish, useless thing, the purple-haired burly advanced Celestial Master roared. He struck his palm out with amazing quickness. The force equivalent to a thunderclap was contained in his move. It was extremely powerful as well. Even though the burly man acted as though he did not think much of Zhen Wushuang, he dared not take his opponent's attack lightly. Evidently, he had utilized a secret skill of his. The two huge forces, each containing electrical energy, clashed head-on. Bam! With an ear-splitting boom, wave after wave of electrical power was unleashed into the surrounding void, shredding it into pieces. It felt as though heaven and earth had split open. The burly man's expression changed. He could feel a sharp pain emanating from his palm as his figure stumbled backward uncontrollably. When he raised his head again, he noticed that Zhen Wushuang had already struck again. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Zhen Wushuang struck 4 times with his sword. Each move was immensely powerful and brought huge pressure to his opponent. Zhen Wushuang infused each strike with a golden thunderbolt, causing their power to be greatly increased. The level 3 Divine Yin Thunder had increased his attack capability to its peak. The burly man wore a serious expression on his face. This time, he returned the favor with both hands. His palms, which were encased in scarlet boxing gloves, surged with electrical power. Shocking thunder palm. Bam! 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 The man struck 4 times with his palms as well, also unleashing all of his power as an advanced Celestial Master. Even so, his figure was still knocked backward by the impact of the clash, and his arms felt incredibly numb. How could I, an advanced Celestial Master, not be on par with this kid in terms of offensive power, the burly man thought. He looked at Zhen Wushuang in surprise before turning around and fleeing. As he did so, he left a voice message for his comrade to leave quickly as well. Zhen Wushuang had no intention of chasing after the burly man. Instead, he turned his gaze toward the other battle which was still raging on. The Celestial Master Yi and Celestial Master Meng Long were facing off against the other expert from the Jin Kingdom. The expert was only a medium Celestial Master, and his strength was close to his opponent's. If it was a one-on-one fight, he would not be afraid, but he was facing 2 opponents now. Furthermore, Celestial Master Jin Chu still had some battle strength left in him, and he was still eyeing for an opportunity to strike back. All these factors caused the Jin Kingdom expert to defend clumsily. He had originally hoped that his partner could come to his aid after dispatching the Eternal Realm expert, but surprisingly, the burly man had lost to Zhen Wushuang and even fled immediately after. Damn it! His expression changed drastically. He was still in shock. The only thing on his mind was to retreat as well. His opponents were, however, hell-bent on catching him. Just at this moment, Zhen Wushuang also came charging toward him. With my current strength, it'll still be hard for me to completely subdue an advanced celestial master, but it's more than enough to handle a middle-ranking one, thought Jian Wushuang as his eyes gleamed with murderous intent. He unleashed his swordsmanship on his opponent as he was drawing near. An extremely beautiful yet mournful-looking sword light formed, and a terrible consciousness attack mixed with killing intent shot toward the middle-ranking celestial master of the Jin Kingdom. Faced with the sudden attack, the celestial master's consciousness was muddled in an instant, and he could do nothing as the sword light sliced his head off. Out of the two experts that were pursuing celestial master Jin Chu, one was dead now and the other had already fled. The experts from the Green Fire Palace gathered in the void. Celestial Master Yi and Celestial Master Meng Long greeted Celestial Master Jin Chu. He then turned his gaze in surprise to Jian Wushuang. This esteemed fellow, then, should be our new comrade and young friend Jian Wushuang, right? That's me, replied Jian Wushuang with a slight nod. I'm Jin Chu. I'm indebted to you three for your help today, the Celestial Master said in gratitude. It's no big deal. Furthermore, both Celestial Master Meng Long and I did not do anything much. If you really wish to thank someone, you should thank our young friend here. If it wasn't for him, we would have been unable to force the advanced Celestial Master of the Jin Kingdom to retreat, much less kill the other middle-ranking one, said Celestial Master Yi cheerfully. Yes, it's all thanks to our young friend, Jian Wushuang, said Celestial Master Jin Chu. He thanked the Eternal Realm expert profusely, but he wore a strange look on his face. He had heard about Jian Wushuang before and knew about his background. He even knew that Jian Wushuang had just joined the Green Fire Palace, and that even though he was an Eternal Realm expert, his battle strength was on par with a medium Celestial Master. That was what he knew. Now that I've finally met him, isn't his actual strength much greater than reported, he thought. Wasn't Jian Wushuang's ability just supposed to be on par with that of a medium Celestial Master? So how could he defeat an advanced Celestial Master in direct combat? Celestial Master Jin Chu was extremely puzzled. Chapter 1110 Life Elixirs. Chapter 1110 Life Elixirs. Following a brief and polite chat, they began to get down to business. Celestial Master Jin Chu, the three of us rushed over here on Void Temple Master's order, but we don't know what has happened. Please tell us the details, Yi said. Jian Wushuang, Yi, and Meng Long knew that something must have happened for Void Temple Master to issue such an order. Something major did happen. To be precise, a big opportunity has appeared, Jin Chu answered. A big opportunity? The three of them were surprised. Here's the thing, Jin Chu explained. When a Green Fire Palace expert passed by the area lately, he found a life elixir. A life elixir? Jian Wushuang became stunned. Yi and Meng Long also appeared to be confused. Jian Wushuang was the only one among them who had never studied elixir. Yi and Meng Long knew a thing or two about elixirs, but life elixirs were foreign to them. Suddenly, Ji King's voice resounded in Jian Wushuang's mind. Life elixir is good news for the Green Fire world. Oh? Jian Wushuang asked, intrigued. Life elixir is an inimitable elixir and has only one effect. It can help a Dao master to integrate his existing Dao and condense his Dharma body. Integrate Daos and condense Dharma body? Wouldn't that mean becoming a celestial master? Yi asked in surprise. Yes, life elixir is an elixir that can advance a Dao master into a celestial master. Moreover, under normal circumstances, one elixir can produce one celestial master, Jin Chu answered. Jian Wushuang was shocked to hear this. It was a great challenge for a Dao master to become a celestial master, as one would be required to integrate existing Dao to create one's Dharma body. There were a large number of Dao masters in the Green Fire world, and quite a few of them had reached the top of rank 3. However, few celestial masters had emerged. Though there were quite a number of celestial masters in the Green Fire Palace, they had all arduously improved themselves over time in the Green Fire world for 40 million years. It was a challenge indeed to produce a celestial master. Yet, life elixirs now presented an easy way for a Dao master to become one. If this elixir became available in the Green Fire world, all the Dao masters would go mad over it. Though life elixirs are extraordinary, they're useless to us since we've reached the level of Celestial Master, Yi said. You're right that it's useless to us. In fact, if there's only one of this elixir, Green Fire Palace wouldn't have cared. The issue is that there are tons of life elixir here, Jin Chu said seriously. Tons of life elixir, the other three asked in surprise. One elixir would produce a Celestial Master. Then wouldn't a bulk of life elixirs produce an army of Celestial Masters? Green Fire Palace would not have cared if the elixir could produce a single Celestial Master. However, if a large number of Celestial Masters was at stake. There were only 100 Celestial Masters in Green Fire Palace, which was insufficient for their battle against the Jin Kingdom. With a new group of Celestial Masters, Green Fire Palace would have the ability to directly fight the Jin Kingdom. Perhaps, they could even dominate the battle. There are numerous life elixirs here, but no one knows the exact number. I'm sure there are no less than 100 of them, Jin Chu said confidently. When the Green Fire Palace expert found the life elixirs, he informed only Void Temple Master. Void Temple Master then ordered several Celestial Masters nearby to search the area for life elixirs. Unexpectedly, when they arrived and were ready to act, Jin Kingdom experts also found the place. Therefore, both sides began searching and fighting for those life elixirs. Void Temple Master ordered you three to come after realizing the Jin Kingdom experts found out about it. I see. The three of them finally understood what had happened. Celestial Master Jin Chu, you've been here for several days. Did you find any life elixirs? Yi asked. I came here 10 days ago with Celestial Master San Jie, but we separated to increase our chances of finding life elixirs. I found 3 in the past 3 days, Jin Chu answered. You found 3 at one go? Jian Wushuang asked. Jin Chu's answer surprised them. 3 life elixirs could create 3 Celestial Masters. Just then, Chem. The 3 of them felt something. They had just received news from Void Temple Master through the token. Void Temple Master told them about life elixirs as well as their purpose. He said that a life elixir was worth 10,000 fire points at the Fire Points Exchange Office. 10,000 fire points for one. Yi was stunned, but his surprise soon gave way to excitement. He turned to look at Jin Chu in admiration. Congratulations, Celestial Master Jin Chu. You just earned 30,000 fire points. Points that I earned after nearly losing my life. If I hadn't been lucky enough to meet you three, I would have paid for it with my life, Jin Chu replied. The 3 of them exchanged looks before chuckling. Not only are these life elixirs valuable, but they're also of great importance to Green Fire Palace. We should try our best to find more, Yi said. Why don't we split up and look for them? Jian Wushuang, you should go alone since you're the strongest. The 3 of us will stick together just in case. Sure. Jian Wushuang nodded as he was used to acting alone. Meng Long and Jin Chu also agreed. There were many Jin Kingdom experts here. If they tried searching the way Jin Chu did, they might just lose their elixirs. They would be able to put up a fight if the 3 of them stayed together. Then, I'll be taking my leave. Jian Wushuang waved at them before flying off. Yi and Meng Long waited for Jin Chu to recover a little before setting off to find life elixirs. Chapter 11:11 Acquaintances. Chapter 11:11 Acquaintances. Jian Wushuang flew alone at a comfortable pace, passing the never-ending lofty mountains below. He was using the Scarlet Eye secret skill as it gave him a broader view. To think there's such a peculiar elixir in the world. He appeared bewildered as he contemplated the existence of life elixirs. Humph! What's so surprising about them? Ji King asked coldly. You're so short-sighted. No one in the eternal chaotic world would even blink because there are so many more powerful ones there. Yes, but I'm now in the Green Fire world. Life elixirs will be a great help to Green Fire Palace. Jian Wushuang retorted. After all, one life elixir could create a Celestial Master. If they found hundreds of life elixirs here, Green Fire Palace would welcome hundreds of new Celestial Masters. It would greatly enhance the might of the palace. Oh right. Life elixirs could help people to integrate different Taos and create Dharma bodies. Can I use it when I'm ready to become a celestial master in the future? Jian Wushuang asked. It's impossible. Jiyu King laughed. Why? Jian Wushuang was confused. It's true that life elixirs can help one become a celestial master, but one's Tao will determine the chances of success in breaking through. If your 3 Tao are merely in the general level, then I can say with certainty that the elixir can help you become a celestial master. However, if 1 of 2 of your Taos are in the universe level, your chances drop to 80 or 90%. If they're in the creation level, your chances are less than 50%. You should at least develop the strongest sword principle if you want to be a celestial master and form your Dharma body. Life elixirs have little effect on you, so it's impossible for you to become a celestial master with just the elixir, Jiyu King added. I see. Jian Wushuang smiled wryly. He was unaware that life elixirs had a bearing on the level of Tao he had developed. Either way, I should try my best to get more life elixirs, Jian Wushuang said, clenching his hands. He continued to fly above the mountains to search for the elixirs. 5 days had passed since. Ahem! This smell. Jian Wushuang stopped midair when he smelled the unmistakable fragrance of elixir. It originated from the spot beside him. The smell was unique as it was the smell of blood. Over there. Jian Wushuang looked in a particular direction and rushed over at once. After a while, he saw 2 scarlet elixirs floating in the void. 2 elixirs? Looks like I'm in luck. Jian Wushuang was so excited that he rushed to grab the 2 scarlet elixirs. However, when he looked at the elixirs in his hands, a strange feeling hit him. These are life elixirs. Such a strong smell of blood. Jian Wushuang commented in bewilderment. Life elixirs are made out of warriors' essence blood. Of course, they'll emanate the aura of essence blood, Jiyu King explained. I see. Jian Wushuang nodded. The strong aura of the 2 elixirs also attracted an elegant man dressed in a golden armor. The man also rushed to the source of the aura, but he was much slower than Jian Wushuang. He arrived just in time to see Jian Wushuang putting the 2 life elixirs away. 2 life elixirs? Damn it. Someone got to them earlier, and to make things worse, it's a green fire palace expert. His face darkened and his expression twisted into one of anger. Soon, he got a clear look at Jian Wushuang. It's him. He stopped in midair with a frown. Jian Wushuang, who had just placed the life elixirs into his interspatial ring, also noticed the man's presence. He was surprised when he looked up and saw who it was. It was the Jin Kingdom expert that he met under the stone pillar with the word kill on it earlier, as well as the first Jin Kingdom expert that he met since entering the battlefield. The man possessed the strength of an advanced celestial master and was strong even among his same-level peers. He was, at least, much stronger than the purple-haired, burly man whom he defeated 3 days ago. The life elixirs fell into the youngster's hands. The man stared at Jian Wushuang, contemplating. He then shook his head. In their previous battle, he was defeated and even lost an arm. Jian Wushuang was evidently as strong as he was. Now that he was alone, it seemed unlikely that he would be able to steal those life elixirs from Jian Wushuang. The man turned around to leave after a brief contemplation. Just as he was about to leave. Haha, where are you going, all anxious like that? Jian Wushuang's cheerful laughter reverberated in the air as he flew toward the man. The man stopped in his tracks and turned around to glare at Jian Wushuang. I know I can't kill you and have no way of taking the life elixirs from you, so I'm leaving. What else do you want me to do? He shouted. What else do I want you to do? Jian Wushuang sneered. The grudge between Green Fire Palace and the Jin Kingdom dictates both sides never stop until the other is exterminated. Since I've stumbled across you now, how can I allow you to leave with ease? Take this. Jian Wushuang charged at the man like he was a flowing light. A sword essence came out in an instant. You madman. There was raging fury in the man's eyes. He had chosen to leave, knowing that he could neither defeat Jian Wushuang or steal Jian Wushuang's life elixirs. However, he never expected that Jian Wushuang would provoke and fight him. Where did the kid get the courage? I didn't want to waste any energy battling you the last time, but did you think that I was afraid of you? The man asked coldly. Golden light flared from within him as 4 arms materialized, all equipped with a massive golden hammer. He swung his hammers at Zhen Wushuang with a lightning speed motion. In just several decades, Zhen Wushuang once again fought a fierce battle with the golden armored man. Chapter 11-12 Second Battle. Chapter 11-12 Second Battle. Bang! The golden armored man swung the massive hammers with his 4 arms. The hammers promptly turned into 4 golden lights. The lights converged and formed a straight line that aimed at Zhen Wushuang one after another. Each of the flowing lights carried a strong momentum, making them seem impossible to block. You almost outdid me in terms of offensive power the last time, but it might not be the same this time. Zhen Wushuang stared emotionlessly at the golden lights that were flying toward him. His Blood Mountain sword began to react. Ancient god power poured into the sword, causing it to explode with a mighty power. Zhen Wushuang then swiftly thrust it at the man. Just then, the golden thunderbolt on the level 3 of divine yin thunder poured into his sword. Clang! 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 Following the noise of collisions, Zhen Wushuang and the man almost flew backward at the same time. The man was shocked. To think that he managed to rival me in a direct collision. Once again, Zhen Wushuang was eager to fight again. He charged at the man as soon as he regained firm footing. Humph! I'm not afraid of you, the man cried. His pupils appeared to be turning red as he threw himself at Zhen Wushuang as well. They fought against each other again. Zhen Wushuang demonstrated his swordsmanship while the man used his giant hammer. They spared no effort to exercise their powers. Bang! 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 Horrifying explosions resounded one after another, sending shockwaves through the air. The world began to shake, impacting the endless mountains. Some mountains were split into several parts, while others were reduced to dust. Ha ha! How exciting! Zhen Wushuang growled, looking incredibly excited. On the other hand, the man became more frightened as the battle progressed. How is this possible? When we fought 10 years ago, we were equal in speed, but he was much weaker than I was. But now, how did he become strong enough to rival me in just a short time? The man murmured. Most of their battle had revolved around the confrontations between their power and might, with minimal displays of killing moves. Even so, he had collided with Zhen Wushuang so many times. How was it that he still did not manage to gain the upper hand in their battle? It's only been a short 10 years. It's not unlike he has become a Dao master, so how did he achieve such great progress? The man was trembling with fear deep inside. Once one arrived at the celestial master level, every improvement in strength was the result of an arduous process. He was one such example, for he had barely improved even after tens of thousands of years. However, Zhen Wushuang's offensive power had been greatly enhanced in just 10 years. To make things worse, Zhen Wushuang was a mere Eternal Realm expert. What a monster! Though the man looked at Zhen Wushuang coldly, he was already making plans to escape. He abruptly waved his 4 arms and produced an amazing power, strong enough to throw Zhen Wushuang backward. He then took the opportunity to retreat and run. He ran. Zhen Wushuang stood in place, watching the golden-armored man leave. He had yet to use all of his tricks. For example, he had not completely exercised his speed. However, he knew that he would not be able to kill the man even if he tried his best. In terms of strength, the man has reached the top level among all advanced celestial masters. However, I've reached the level 3 of divine yin thunder, and therefore am stronger in overall strength. Therefore, I can defeat many advanced celestial masters. Zhen Wushuang smiled faintly to himself. He never once thought of fighting the golden-armored man to death. He merely wanted a real battle with the man to get an idea of his own strength. He had fought against a burly man with purple hair, an advanced holy master with weak battle strength, but that man escaped soon after the battle began. That left him unsatisfied. However, he was very happy with this battle. Let's keep going. Zhen Wushuang continued to fly around the mountains in search of life elixirs. Whoosh! A golden flowing light flitted across the air before stopping on the top of a mountain. It was the man who fought Jian Wushuang earlier. That man was Chu Yang, a famed celestial master of the Jin kingdom. Out of the many advanced celestial masters in the kingdom, he was strong enough to place fifth. He was absolutely one of the advanced celestial masters in terms of strength. However, his current expression was grave. Jian Wushuang. How did his strength increase so sharply in such a short time? If he continues improving at such a rate, won't he be the next Sunrise Sword Emperor? We must keep a close eye on Jian Wushuang in the future. Therefore, Chu Yang immediately reported this to the high-level experts of the Jin Kingdom. I met a peerless genius from the Green Fire Palace called Jian Wushuang. He seems like a mere Eternal Realm expert, but is talented indeed. Perhaps he's using some kind of secret skill to hide his aura. When I met him last time, he used all sorts of skills to fight me but barely escaped with his life intact. Back then, his offensive power was much weaker than mine. 10 years later, when I meet him again today, his offensive power is on par with mine. He has greatly improved his strength. We must kill someone this talented as soon as possible. Otherwise, he might turn out to be a formidable force of the Green Fire Palace. The high-level experts of the Jin Kingdom soon received the news. Concerned as they were, they immediately ordered their experts hiding in the Green Fire world to investigate Jian Wushuang. However, those experts faced a lot of limitations in the Green Fire world. Some of them might have information on Jian Wushuang, but they had few opportunities to deliver their messages as they could not show up in public. Therefore, those high-level experts could not get details of Jian Wushuang so soon. Still, they sent messages to the other experts on the battlefield, requesting them to look out for a sword principal expert in the Eternal Realm and kill him if a chance presented itself. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.